stream. Do, do, do. Boop, boop, be, do, 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 do. Hi, guys. Happy Friday. So funny because I can see the screen in front of me saying it's still trying to go live. And then I'm looking over to the left. I'm like, nope, we here. Happy Friday. My name is Kay Ross, the uh, writer, producer, CEO of Owl Echo Entertainment, and we're back with another weekly Biscuits with Bosses. With me today is my lovely Ed McMahon, Mr. Matthew York. Matthew, welcome. Happy
Oh,
Friday.
hello, happy Friday. Thanks for having me. Love being here.
You know, I love having you here. If for nothing else, because you play along. I love people who play along. It makes me so happy.
I don't have to play along. I just want to be here. I love this.
Aw. All right, you can stay.
Yes. Yes, I get to be on a podcast. I've always wanted to be on one.
I've always wanted to be on a podcast. And not just once, but twice now. Goodness,
Twice
actually,
now.
technically three times because the first time we tried to roll out a podcast, I was like, Matthew, come out and answer some questions for me. Um,
Yeah, like years ago, and then the world shut
Years
down.
ago. Yeah. Yeah. But that was also like before podcasts actually blew up as a thing because the world shut down. Like the mentality was podcasts would only ever be recorded and would only ever be audio. Like there was
Right.
definitely, a shift, I think, the moment everything went in-house. The
Yeah.
moment everything became like, um,
Yeah, I
I don't know,
definitely feel
like we
like,
wanted to see each other's faces. Good.
yeah. No, I was gonna agree with you. I feel like there was like the first wave in like 2014 whenever like it felt like everyone started having a podcast, and then COVID hit and we were like, I've listened to all the music. Like there is nothing left on Netflix to watch. And then we're like, oh, podcasts are the same thing, but I can fold laundry at the same time. Like or I can doom scroll on my phone while I listen to the it feels like someone else is in the room,
Yeah.
and I feel like that meant a lot when we couldn't have other people in the room. You could like it was uh having that viewer relationship, and a lot of people were felt like they were friends with their the hosts and stuff because of how much personality you put into it, and then you're able to listen to like 5 episodes in a row and you don't even realize it because they're just talking, and you're like, oh wow, I should have gone to bed a long time ago.
Well, I love that aspect personally.
hmm
And if I'm honest, through the lockdown, part of what got me through it was, my day job. I was community manager. I still am community manager through Stage 32, which because it's a networking platform, half of what we do in the writer's room, which is like the subscription base, is have these live webcasts. So I've been hosting these kind of webcasts for a while now, and part of why it felt so sustaining was because it gave you that sense of like, oh, I'm in a group, right? These are my people. I can see them once a week and know they'll be here, whether or not I want to talk or not, or engage or not, they're here.
Yeah.
Um, and it is a comfort. So thanks for tuning in or watching after we've recorded. This is actually a podcast built on us as people in the industry talking with industry leaders and getting to know them Ted Lasso style, thus having a bit of tea. Although today is a coffee day, I gotta tell you, I'm full Ted Lassoing it because I'm also moving, so I need a little boost. Um, and other than Ted Lasso style, getting to know you, it's also, diving a little deeper and seeing what we can do, you know, through this podcast, but also in our individual efforts to elevate the future of filmmaking. Because there are a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah.
Which before we get into the getting to know you, I'm curious, Matt, have you heard anything about the industry right now that's like on your mind?
Uh, no, I have not. I mean, other than I feel like there's the usual fights for like don't use AI art and stuff like that. I'm a big advocate for like paying for art and having good art made by real people. Like whatever that is, like art is subjective, but like I know that that's been a thing for a bit. But why? Has there been a new headline or something that I've missed?
There has, and I only want to bring it up because it has been all the talk, all the rage, as you can imagine, because there are a lot of people in the industry, but there are even more people that want to be in the industry. And
Sure.
one, I hate saying easy way, but um, a way that does not require you to, you know, upend your life and move to LA like we did is actually becoming a screenwriter, right? Because
Mhm.
especially if you're a screenwriter for feature films, you can write that at a distance. Literally write it and pitch it, both things at a distance, and then sell it. Like you don't even have to be part of the filmmaking process. Just pump them
Yeah.
out. Um, and one such place that was very well known for helping screenwriters all over the world was Coverfly. And IndieWire is one of the many that have reported about it, but IndieWire recently reported that Coverfly is going to shut down. I believe August, September. Um, and there are
Wow.
still plenty of other platforms that still do what Coverfly did, including the tracking board, including the script lab, including Screencraft, including the Blacklist, including Stage 32. So you can imagine why this is huge for us, because, again, my day job with Stage 32 has very much hinged on being a global platform, being, community first, and all of these other things come as part of that package. So I think a lot of people are feeling kind of that gut punch of like, oh, this has been such a huge resource for so long. What am I going to do now? And so I say to you, do not toil because there are other ways that you can still get yourself out there as a screenwriter without it being Coverfly. Um, yeah, which Matthew, I feel like you're like very editor focused and not a lot of screenwriting focused, but you could do your job at a distance too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of my clients, I mean, you were remote. Like that is the joy of at least digital media and being kind of behind the scenes is like you can do it from anywhere. And that has been such a great part of post COVID basically is everyone's been like, "Oh, we don't have to go to our places to do our job effectively. In fact, we're more effective when we don't always have to leave and go to places." And I think that's been a really good resource. So I'm sorry to see that this is being canned. That really sucks because I imagine that was such a great resource to so many people to get in contact with other people like that you would ordinarily never do. Like you could only do that at a convention or at in LA or like if you already had some really expensive person's number or something. That's really unfortunate.
It is. But you know what? I feel like I just had this conversation with another professional in the industry who was like, the theme in Hollywood is always like the sky is falling. There's always something going on that makes it feel like it's the end of Hollywood as we know it. And yet
Sure.
we find a way to circle back around to kind of buoy back up. We felt that way when we went from film stock to digital cameras, right? We
Right.
felt that way when we went from DVDs and Blu-rays to streaming. And even when Netflix completely changed over to streaming only, because they used to do that, mailer thing, which was
Yeah.
awesome because
Yeah.
then we didn't have to like go into a store and do the whole Blockbuster thing. Um, and yet, right, we always find a way.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel like that's my news and message of the day. Thank you for listening. Um, Actually, I'm kind of curious now because editors and not that what you do is elusive to me because clearly, I went to film school, but like what are your online resources? Like if like Coverfly and the Blacklist and Stage 32 are the resources for screenwriters, like where do you guys go as editors for your resources or like the network?
To network, I don't know. I wish I had more resources on that. Um, it's I feel like it's largely word of mouth and hopping from client to client. Like I've talked to you and you're like you enjoy my work and you think what I do is cool, and then you meet someone that is like, hey, I am starting this new thing, or I've been looking for this thing, and then you're like, well, actually, I know a guy that is pretty good, and even though he's remote, he does good work, and then you give him my social media or whatever, and then like that's how I do it. I don't know.
Mm,
It's I have gotten really fortunate with the positions I've gotten in. My first internship, I won. I shouldn't say I won. I got because of a Twitter post, basically. Uh,
wow.
yeah, the my first clients were like, "Hey, we're looking for a new editor, and just someone who's new and doesn't, is looking for a place that they can learn from and stuff." And I was like, "Well, I record my own stuff and I edit my own stuff, and I'm in college. I think what's the worst that can happen?" So I, emailed the thing and that turned it in. I was like, I'm such a big fan, blah blah blah. Been watching y'all for years. Here's my stuff. And then like a month later, they responded back like, "Hey, you're in top 20." And I was like, "Whoa." And then like a week later, they were like, "You're it, kid." And I was like, "What?" And
Aw.
that's I've been riding that high ever since. Um, so I don't have any great advice or any great real way um, to anything to offer to like other editors, but I can say that I can confidently say I failed my way to success, and I'll take that. I'll take it where
Well,
I can get it.
I mean, I can tell you that's good info actually. Like participating in giveaways. That's a great way to get your name out there.
Yeah,
Um, actually, it just so happens that I'll leave the link for you guys here as well, because I noticed we left the link for the article to IndieWire. So if you want to learn more about the departure of Coverfly, but also your other options, it is there for you. But also the link for Stage 32. And it just so happens if you are an editor and you're looking to network online, Stage 32 does have a post-production lounge. So just throwing it out
perfect.
there. That is the end of my spiel for Stage 32. I just know it really well, so thanks. Um, but also, it's a really great community. Okay,
Yeah,
so in my experience, editors are the worst at networking because they spend so much time alone.
right. Like
But
that's
they also have the most material. Like you guys literally have a reel, and the only other
yeah.
people who have
We
that is a
we
filmmaker.
we are constantly making our own Sizzler reels and just giving them to
Right.
other people as like, do you like version 1, 2, or 3? And it's like I could have put all of those on YouTube for free. No. But no, I completely agree. Like because we don't we don't have to be there for pre-production. We don't have to be there for actual production. We only have to get everything at the end. Basically, I mean, it helps to be there and like
I was supposed
figure
to say
out
it's nice if you're there
and
though.
absolutely. Oh, it's great to be there and understand the story, and like if you get the whole script beforehand and you can like there's a lot you can do. But bare bones, like I can download a video from YouTube and then just make a different video. Like, and no one would see that it's me. It would just be a completely like faceless thing.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
so I agree. I think editors do have, I don't know if it's a more difficult time, but definitely a difficult time given that they don't need a lot of face-to-face time in order to get the work done still.
Yeah. Um, there's a really great networking event in town, and when we say in town, we mean LA. Hosted by Pam of LA Directors Lab. I see you, Pam, doing good work. It's called Not Another Boring Networking Event, which I think is hilarious. Because she basically makes it into a party, right? Like there's a photo booth and there's a DJ. Um, they actually have like a screening wall. So instead of having like sports playing or something, they actually ask for attendees to submit a reel. And
Okay,
then you have people's reels playing as you walk around. So you
that's
don't have to
sick.
worry about right? Exactly. So if you were an editor, this would be perfect because you could literally have your work showing as you talk to people and be like, that's mine.
Yeah. It's like a living art exhibit or something.
Yes. Yes. Super
That's
cool.
cool.
Um, so shout out to Pam, but also highly recommend if you are organizing any networking events yourself, find a way to jazz it up so that people actually connect faster through, the what's available at the networking event, right? Yeah, it's fine if it's
Yeah.
still like at a bar and talking with people and shaking hands. Just in my experience, even with festivals, I'll probably meet anywhere from 6 people to on a if it's over a course of several days, I'll probably meet up to 24. Like and actually like get their information and
Yeah.
actually follow up with them and yada yada yada. And that's been at festivals where I'm like presenting a thing. So there are a lot
Mhm.
of people coming up to me. Yeah, there
Right.
probably won't be any more than 6 a day. So maybe 30 people total. And that's just, it's just not nearly as many as you see the thing in front of you, you see me in front of you, and then you pull the trigger of, hey, let me
Yeah.
drop you an email. Um, all right. I know we know each other fairly well, but I have the deck if you want to do a little Ted
Absolutely.
Lasso getting to know you time.
Of course.
Did I tell you last time that apparently I did not read the instructions and blue were actually the version that you should start with because they're like, like the kiddie pool. Because we
Wow.
dove into green, which was the second level up, which is why it was a little deeper than we were expecting.
It's all good.
Um, so I leave it to you, blue or green.
Uh, let's do blue. We did green last time.
Blue it is. And for those of you who are just now tuning in, what we're doing in order to do our Ted Lasso style getting to know you is pulling from this deck of cards called Actually Curious. And Actually Curious is exactly that. It is a card game built on the idea that sometimes the best part of the game is getting to know you. So it's these little prompts on each of these cards to help you have really interesting discussions and, deeper discussions get you really to the point of getting to know each other. And I've completely forgotten what you said. Green, blue.
Let's do blue.
One,
I
two,
realize they
three.
match my glasses.
Yes, blue for the win. All right, my friend, we have one, two, three, four, five. What is your preference?
Let's go three. Perfect
Three it
middle.
is. Yeah. All right. And it says, would you prefer to live the remainder of your life with a 30-year-old mind or body?
Ooh. Uh, well, I'm not there yet. So I suppose with limited information, body, I guess, because I feel like as you get older, it would be better to have like younger joints and stuff than a younger mind. Maybe? I don't know. What's your answer?
I tend to think the same. First off, because we forget that your brain is actually part of your body. So having a younger body helps to keep your brain healthy. I think it's alluding to this idea that like your emotional maturity won't get past
Sure.
30 years old, and at which point I'm like, absolutely not.
Yeah, right. Ugh.
Uh, so I feel like that one was easy. Yep, body.
Yeah.
That's yep, that one. Um, Too funny. Also, I don't know. There's this thing that happens. I was a massage therapist for a long time. And when you're a massage therapist, you are working with creams and oils all the time. So I never noticed that my skin wasn't hydrated all the time because
Sure.
it during work hours it certainly was. Plus I was younger. And now that I'm not, and I'm living in LA, which is incredibly dry, like
Mm,
I notice how quickly my hands get dry. And the thing it sounds really strange because there are other things that ravage your body as you get older. But one of the things that absolutely happens is your body loses its moisture,
yeah.
which is why your skin cracks and why, anyway, it's just part of the equation. So the longer you can stay hydrated, the younger you look, or the better you feel. Anyway, all that to be
Definitely.
said, I miss having permanently soft skin because every once in a while when it gets really dry, I'm like,
Oh,
I know, first world problems. It's not a real problem. It's just that's how I notice I'm not in a 30-year-old body anymore. That's all. And I can't. I mean, I can, but they're in front of me, so I'm gonna let you choose the next one as well. 1 through 5.
let's do 4.
Where it is. Do 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 do. Oh, it's a blank. It's a fill in the blank.
Uh-oh.
Um, I wish I could share blank with humankind. How long do we have?
Yeah, right.
Do you want me to start this one off, or do you want to take it?
Sure, you got it.
Um, I wish I could share the foundational knowledge I believe should be required in high school with
Mm,
humankind. I know
that's
this
good.
has come up before, but uh, I started this like series called Everything I Need to Know I Should Have Learned in High School because for me, when I got into when I finally did all 4 years of college, and I did it through a community college, and the transfer credits went to a Jesuit university. So this is Regis University. And as part of a Jesuit university, they require both religion and philosophy courses, which was actually kind of cool because for me, world religion is, like we should all learn it. That's great.
Yeah.
But if you're not learning it with philosophy, you are missing part of the importance of it, right?
Mhm.
And so one class I took, I only bring it up because this poor dude, young fellow, as is often true in college. And this is the philosophy of religion. That is to say, we're going to think about the questions that religion seeks to answer um, in a philosophical way. We're just going to argue the merits of it, not, how dedicated are we to it? This isn't a personal anything. And this poor guy, because most of it was set up like a debate, you have to understand this side in order to, you know, to discuss it with the other side.
Mhm.
And he was asked to debate something that was um, basically not in alignment with his beliefs and could not understand the opposite, viewpoint to the point where he asked to change sides, which kind of defeats the purpose of the class in the first place, which is you have to get out of your personal experiences
Yeah.
and just think logically. Um, and part of what occurred to me is he kept saying like, this was such a big part of my life and it saved me. And when it's that deep and that personal, of course, you're not going to be able to depart from what you believe versus what is, very full of proof, right? Evidential. And had he been asked those questions earlier, even just to plant the seed, he would have had more of an ability to depart from the debate or depart from his personal feelings so that he could participate in the debate. Um, so for me, things like psychology, philosophy, world religions, so that we can understand other people's positions, even if we don't agree with them, we understand them. We can appreciate them.
Sure.
Um, and the reason I feel like that should be shared with humankind is because we, at least in America, have this way of telling young people you are either meant for something technical or meant for something elevated, but don't really give yourself a chance to be both,
Yeah.
which on the face of it robs people of the richness of their participation in society because we all have the ability to have financial wellness. We all have the ability to understand our part and our role in, environment. We all have, the capacity to understand our choices and the weight that they carry and the control we have over them because psychology is a big part of that, not just philosophy, but like, what are you choosing to do in this moment? And acknowledge that it's on you, you know? Anyway, Thank you for letting me share. Because there are lots of different versions of that as well. But I think that's the core of it, which is, I think we're robbing young adults of the opportunity to actually, you know, get their adult training wheels in high school before they're legally, you know, facing consequences as adults, you know?
Yeah, I agree. When I left high school, I felt like I was underprepared for not just college, but generally life. I know that probably sounds a little weird, but like there was a certain amount of that is just like experience and understanding what happens, like as you just get older or like live by yourself and whatnot. But like, I don't know. I feel like that I agree with you. There is a good amount of the of general curriculum that can be uh redesigned to better fit not only the needs of like high schoolers today, but also like uh but not just like what they should know, like algebra and math or history and religion and theology or woodworking even, but like they should. What am I trying to say here? I had a train of thought and then it just left. It should prepare them for other life skills as well, like
Yeah.
learning how to fix a car. I didn't know. I had to learn how to change a tire by my dad, and I love that, and I'm glad I had that ability, but not everyone does. But what every kid has, or what every kid should have, is high school.
Yeah.
And like if everyone was just generally able to learn those things and had that basis of a knowledge across the board, I feel like a lot of things would be easier or at least go significantly smoother.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just unfortunate that that isn't how it is currently.
No, and I think you make a good point, which is like it's not that those lessons aren't available to you. And the argument at the other end of it is there's no way to fully prepare you. There's always going to be
Oh
something
yeah,
that slips through the cracks. However, the fact that we're teaching higher level math like calculus and not teaching basic things like, accounting
right.
when people are responsible for their personal finances is insane
Yeah,
at the core of
I
it.
I agree. I
Um,
agree.
but and I think some part of it is because one, there hasn't been enough opportunity or money to change the system or upgrade the system. And certainly no incentive because nobody really wants, people with critical thinking and being critical of the powers that be.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm all for being critical, like um pushback is the name of the game. But at the other end of that, it's also the people with the money who are usually pushing technology. Technology is almost always the important part, not the lesson behind it. And when you have the one-two punch of like the parental units going, make all the accommodations for my child, and you have the technological people who are going, use this tech in your schools, regardless of whether or not it serves the greater lesson, then you're serving two masters that isn't the student.
yeah, right.
Um, so again, I'd love to share it if for nothing else to slowly begin to implement it. I mean, that's why TED Talks became so popular because it was purely information, right?
Yeah,
Lots of intention with it, but purely information. Um, and how many teachers use TED Talks now as a like basis for
right.
the conversation? Um, anyway, I digress. Thank you for listening. Hey, Matt, what would you share with humankind?
Th this probably sounds very I don't know, young and hopeful or whatever, but like free medicine. I think
Mm,
it's crazy that we live in an age of just so much money and so much technological advancement, and yet there are very preventable or at the very least treatable diseases and illnesses worldwide that just go unnoticed or go untreated because it's somewhere else, because it's not here, because it's not on the rich people's agenda or whatever. Sorry. But no, I don't know. Like even like in the United States, it is a problem of people just not being able to afford medical issues that they need that like are necessary in order for them to live or live a life without pain or in less pain, and they can't. Or a company decides that it is not favorable for them or something. And that just sucks. That just sucks to read, and it sucks to have, not that I currently have family in that position, but like I have known people where that has been the case, and like that just is terrible. And
Yeah.
it's if it's this terrible here, it is only worse in like other countries and stuff. So I don't
Oh
know,
yeah.
free medicine. I wish that there was just like a CVS on every corner, like everywhere. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but
Yeah. Honestly, I even wonder if free medicine is the solution. I feel like my version of that is free diagnosis because
Mm,
it seems to me like because the part that makes the industry money is the medication that
sure.
we overlook the diagnosis altogether in service of here, try this and
That's
see if it
fair.
works. Right? And it's like, no, 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 no. You have the equipment to figure it out. You have
Yeah,
the critical thinking to go through the troubleshooting steps that doesn't include the medication. And if you're not leaning on those tools, then you're a servant of the pill pusher. You're a servant of the
that's fair.
industry, not me, as as
Yeah.
your patient.
I'll
Um,
correct my statement then. Free
no.
medical like uh assistance, free medical
Mm,
uh healthcare, free world. I don't know. I don't, what's the
yeah.
right word there? Just just the medical industrial complex worldwide. There you go.
And they do, I mean, I think that's why Doctors Without Borders is so impactful,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um,
I love that. I love
but
that organization.
yeah, me too. Um, but I think that's a great one. Good call. And for those of you who are listening, you're like, wait, weren't we here to talk about industry stuff? Look, I think people forget sometimes that like when you're getting to know anyone in your work environment or before they become part of your work environment, like if you don't take the time to kind of get to know them as a person, then there is, it's almost like creating a hurdle for cohesion. You know what I mean? It's amazing how much easier it is for people to come to work, to show up and do their best when they feel like they're in a group of friends, as opposed to a group of people who just sit at a distance with arms folded, with, heavy with expectation and not at all attempting to bridge the gap. Um, so thanks, man. Thanks for
Of course.
taking a little moment to get to know me.
Thanks for getting to know me.
Yeah, man. Um, all right. I feel like we need to move on to the victory round because if we don't, it is very possible we'll forget and just keep getting to know each other because it's so easy to just chit chat. But I do recommend for anybody who is listening, whether you're listening live or you're listening as part of the recording, highly recommend this little game, Actually Curious. And they do have different versions, a happy hour, or if you're looking for something a little more in depth. Super inexpensive, available both on their website and through pretty major stores like Barnes and Noble. And you can use it pretty much anywhere. So take it with you to work or take it with you when you go out networking. It's a really great way to not rely on your own sense of like, hmm, here are new people and I'm not exactly sure how to connect with them. Let's see if we can play a game. And it's a little more in depth than just like Jenga.
Yeah.
Although that can be fun too.
I bet it'd
Um,
be fun to create D&D characters with those. Like if you were trying to really get like a good D&D campaign, like just ask those questions and answer in character.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Oh, I love this idea so much. Wait, so when you play D&D, who do you normally play?
I'm usually a rogue, ranger, one of those two. I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and we
Mm.
just finished. We're at the final fight as a wizard because we wanted to. My girlfriend and I have been playing it like together, so we decided to do wizard. But I didn't understand spells at all. And it's we've been playing like a fighter wizard, not like a real fighter wizard,
Oh.
but like we've been trying to like do melee because we forget that he has spells. But it's so it's been fun. But no, normally I'm a rogue. I usually try to do a lot of sneak attacks, or I'm like a ranger. I do stuff from afar. I've never been like a barbarian or anything like that. How about you?
I'm so a tank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I rein it in and I'll do like paladin type tanks where it's more about, saving other people. But usually my
Sure.
version of like saving people is to like charge in so that I'm basically the human shield and
Yeah.
I take the damage instead of they do. Um, but
That's
part of
good.
it's because I like faster characters.
Sure.
Um, Probably because I personally am not very fast in real life. Like I'm strong in real life, but I'm not fast.
Mm.
Um, which is funny because the one game. Why am I thinking Andromeda? But that's not it. Honey, do you remember that game with the suits that flies around? Suits that flies around. You know what I'm talking about. We would play it together, and it's like a Iron Man type suit. Oh, Anthem. Anthem. Freaking
And
Anthem. Uh, which apparently nobody else likes, but I really enjoy. But one of the reasons I enjoyed it was because of there's certain like techniques that allow you to like zoom into a space and like kind of berserk. And so even if you're not like a tank that has lots of shields where you can take a lot of damage, I can
Mhm.
go in and do high damage quickly and so I still tank in that way.
Right.
Oh, hello there. Hi, Prince Zuko. Did you see that I have a snack already laid out for us? Yes, thank you. He's like, oh, I know what happens when I try and go after her snack. Um, so hey, any victories from this past week that you wish to claim?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a video editor for well, learning for over 5 years now, and it's been great. And I have worked, but like just exclusively worked with video editing. Primarily Premiere Pro has been my thing, but I did some like free stuff before that. I've done like iMovie, whatnot. Um, but I have finally bitten the bullet, and I have finally started learning After Effects. And it's been a long time coming, and I've been a little confused, but I've already made uh, a cool like I think it's like 4 second, 5 second like animation intro thing that just says like welcome to After Effects. Um, and I've made some like lower thirds type animations and stuff, and it's been super cool actually. I get why people like it. I understand it's like versatility, but it's definitely been a learning hurdle. Just because so much is different, so much is like it's just new, it's just a new program, new material, and learning that it doesn't like when you export stuff or render is not export, or they're the same, but I want to say export, and then like it can only do it in certain ways, but if you want to save space, then it goes to like the media encoder. Like there's just so much more process now. It's just there's
Mm-hmm.
so much more process, and that's been a bit of a learning curve. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been cool. It's been cool to have it, and I'm excited to see where this journey goes because I like its detailedness. I can get lost. I feel like I can get lost in it very easily. So maybe that's not a good thing. but because like I'm the type of guy that like wants everything right. Like I want it to just be like keyframe, picture perfect. Like I will do everything one frame at a time if I have to. Uh, but the that's at the expense of time, and I don't always have that. So maybe it won't be, but I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it, and that's me saying it on this recording. So, uh, but yeah, that's been my victory round. How about you?
That's amazing. Let me just a hearty cheers to finally learning Adobe After Effects.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, kudos to you, sir.
Thank you.
Truly. Mm. And
I'm
truly, I've been at the other end of that, and it is not easy, which is why I stayed in my little happy place, which is templates, where I'm like, that looks close to what I'm looking for. I'm just gonna plug it in and tweak it a little bit and run with it. And if I
yeah,
need something custom later, that's round two.
right, right. Yeah.
Because no. Before I forget, for those of you uh looking for actually curious, check it out here. Nope, that does not look like the link I'm looking for.
Uh
Well, I
yeah,
guess it is.
it's been
There we go.
I feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg, you know? Like
Yeah,
there's definitely more. Like I could get so in depth about stuff I don't even like know yet, you know?
yeah.
But it feels good to finally like start chipping the marble at it and like be like, okay, okay, this is a pretty good hammer. I should probably keep using it.
Well, especially, and I know I've done the same thing because I'm a monkey see, monkey do kind of person. When I see examples of people doing videos online, I'm like, okay, that's how I want mine to look.
Yeah,
How do I need to do that better next time?
right.
Um, and I'm still the quality will always come. I think the consistency is the thing that is harder, which is why for our mental health, we're doing this once a
Ooh.
week because if we don't, it will slip away.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, no, just keep up with it, man. I think you're gonna do great.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
and
What's
without
been
getting
your
into
victory?
details, I've seen your work and it looks pretty
Oh,
good, man. So great
thank you.
job.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Um, more on that soon. Wahaha.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
All to be revealed.
I don't even know what my victory this week is. I have so many things going on simultaneously. Um, Last night's victory, not even this week's victory, but last night's victory, I was toiling over a bio I had to write, my bio for an event that I had to kind of rework in order to make it appealing for people to work with me, which, okay, I know you can see the squirm in my face. I promise I'm not. Yep, I'm about to out myself. I am not a humble person. I say that because I really hate people who waste my time. And so I think sometimes humility is a waste of time. Just tell me.
Mm,
Don't like kick
yeah,
dirt or dig your toe in the sand. Just tell me. And if
yeah.
you can't tell me, then you might have a self-esteem problem. And that isn't actually my problem. And I say that full well knowing that I have been on the other side of that conversation where I have not been confident in something I was doing. And someone pulled me aside going, you have a confidence problem, right? And I'm like, oh, damn. um, so, turnabout is fair play. Um, so knowing that it's not a matter of humility, knowing that it's a matter of I I I'm a project oriented person. So most of my life has been I dive into a thing, I rock it, I move on. I was doing professional theater straight out of high school. My first internship was the summer after I graduated, and I was the only one getting paid because they weren't teaching me anything. After that, I started working for Signature Theater, which, if you look up Signature Theater, not only is it a major player in the DC area, but like they get people in from Broadway all the time because it is like a hub for musical theater in DC.
Wow.
And definitely a stepping stone into the Kennedy Center, which is the Kennedy Center.
Yeah.
And when I worked for Signature Theater as a freshman in college, I was their like master electrician, which meant I was there for the
Wow.
light hang, not as one of the lighting like grunts. So I had seniors that were working for me,
That's awesome.
right? So, but when you try to like boil it down outside of like the story, it's really hard to be like, I've done theater, I've done television, I went to film
Sure.
school, I've done commercials and I've done films and I was on the production manager track and that I was like, y'all seem to think I only do logistical things and you're so wrong. Um, so there's just a laundry list and you have to find like a cool way to like massage it into something that sounds like, hey, you should come learn how to write with me. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that to be said, I'm not humble, but it is still very hard to sell myself. And I think some part of the victory was also just owning up to the fact that I am now finally in a place to say I'm building on a thing, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Um, and for me, that's really exciting because I'm really good with projects because I have a lot of energy at the top of a thing, and I have just enough energy to get me to the end of a thing. And then it's like I'm out. You know what I like
Yeah.
I did my part. And that's where my peak responsibility is really there. If you ask me to be responsible long term, like I should not be a shop owner because if I have to
Yeah.
go to the same place every day in the same way, shoot me.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, that's why I liked massage for so long was because I may have been doing the same kind of thing, but I was always adjusting to the person. And so
Right.
every day was a new thing.
Sure.
Um, anyway, all that to be said, the thing that I'm building is very much surrounding story math. So, you know, even though last year was very much project oriented, I was still breaking story. And then it was client oriented and I was still breaking story. And then I figured out how to kind of package that process as a workshop. And then I am still boiling down the process so that people could take it as a workbook or as a course or a program. So it's self-guided at that point. So I'm
Hmm.
I'm building.
Right.
And it feels really good to build
Yeah.
because then when it's done, I can just like I can not just set it free, but be like, look, I'm done. And I can
Right.
move on. And that little engine can just go on its own. Um, yeah. So in a
That's
way,
awesome.
oh God, this whole week has been writing. Now that I think on it, I wrote a blog that was 3,000 words in like a
Wow.
day.
Wow.
Yeah. I wrote another
Wow.
one that was 1,500 words in an hour and a half.
Jeez.
But I know the material so well that I could just like crank it out. And look,
Sure.
so I wrote it in an hour and a half, and then there's the holding place before they publish it, and I'm reading
Sure.
through it. I'm like, well, that needs to be edited, and that needs to be edited, and you still need a picture here, so it's still gonna need like another hour of like tweaking. But
Yeah.
like, there was a lot of writing this week. So by the time I got to my bio, I was like,
Right.
you want me to talk about myself? No. Um, anyway, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the cheers. I appreciate that.
Of course. No. Cheers to you.
Thank you, sir.
Victories all around.
Yay. I love how your black bottle just matches your whole like motif.
Oh, yeah, I guess it does. I I normally put stickers on everything. I have a pile of stickers right here that are just waiting, a whole box of them just waiting for something good. Uh, but every black thing I get is like shiny. And so I love like it looks good when there's a sticker on it, but this was I specifically got matte black.
Mm,
And I like that it is not super reflective. I like that it is not like super shiny. It doesn't like it blends in way better with my shirt, even with the light like right on it. Um, and so I've refused to put a sticker on it. but I don't have anything good to put a sticker on, and I also really want to put a sticker on something. Which I don't know, may call that weird, but I think stickers are cool. I still think stickers are cool, and I love putting them on everything, on anything that I can.
Just throwing it out there. If ever you need like a DJ name or like a radio name, or in this case, a podcast name, I think you should think about Matt Black,
That's good. That's that's clever. I like that a lot.
right? Um, just throwing it out there. Sometimes it's nice to have your real name attached to things, but like, if you need like a personality,
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying. Uh,
That's funny. I like
so
it.
I
I
was
like it.
I think there was something I was going to be like, hey, this is a note for you people. You people being like anybody who's listening and you're in the industry. And oh, by the way, and I've completely forgotten it. hmm
My
See, I
bad.
do it too. Oh, balls. I don't remember. It'll come. I bet it will come because I was thinking it in order to transition to the next section, which is usually like, so what are we doing to elevate the industry?
Mm.
Like, what are we really? Um, and I think because in this instance, you know, if you're my mentee and I'm the mentor, like I feel like I can answer that a little bit more, but I think we can both explore like what are we hoping to see out of the industry? Oh, that probably is it. Because I've been reading a lot of I was talking about signature theater and I started like going down a rabbit hole when I
Mm.
was writing the bio about everything that they've been doing and oh my God, have they leveled up in a big way. Just amazing. Like even recently had Lin-Manuel
Whoa.
visiting. I know, I because they were playing in the Heights.
Okay,
Um
sure.
and you can imagine that playing the live performance of In the Heights during the current, you know,
Yeah.
American cultural and political climate is so impactful right now.
Yeah.
The importance
In
of neighbors and
DC.
what have you. In DC, indeed. Um, and in fact, I'll make sure you guys get that. There was a video clip from Instagram, so I'll make sure you guys get that here shortly. But I do think that if part of what we're seeing is, the Hollywood system, films and television kind of going by the wayside in favor of content, I think the other side of that is actually in favor of live theater. And I think if we as filmmakers and as, television executives can take a beat and see what are they doing and what's really encouraging about what they're doing right now and how can we elevate what they're doing? Um, I don't know. I think we can help each other because yeah, nothing really beats live theater. I think there was a sense for a while that like, oh, film and television, it's gonna kind of take it over. And it's like, is it though?
Yeah. Theater's always gonna have its place.
Yeah.
I like it. I like theater too. I love going to plays and musicals and such.
Rock on. Well, and
Yeah.
now you're back in the area, so you should check out Signature Theater.
Yes, absolutely. I will absolutely do that now.
Um, well, anyway, sorry, that was my quick diatribe to be like, oh right, that was my thought. But just as like an exploratory question for you, Matt, because I'm curious, like, what would you love to see, like, be elevated or be expanded upon in the industry moving forward?
Um, Let me see. I guess I had talked about it earlier, but I'll talk about it again. And that is uh I hope that there is a better agreement in the industry within studios against using AI for art, or it should be said, exclaimed, part of the project in some way that they're advertised as part of the project in which you can't get away from not knowing that an AI is attached to it.
Oh yeah.
Um, like I think AI is a cool tool, and I am not against it for what it can do or what some people are trying to do to it, but I think that it is just it is a bridge too far for robots to be making the art and humans to not be making the art. I feel like that is the point of robots is to do non-art stuff so that way humans can naturally do art stuff. Um, and I think it sucks when you know, movie producers or large studios or whatever choose to take the easy route, choose to take the cheaper route and get what I think is a worse product or a cheapened product by using something that didn't take the time and energy and resources that it should take to make a thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm seeing that. I guess I can't name like a movie off the top of my head or whatever, but I like the what comes to mind is like Coca-Cola's commercial from a year or two ago, and I think of like I feel like I've seen a couple other ads and commercials and stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of like YouTube ads that are just made with AI, and I think it's so annoying. Like in case ads weren't annoying enough, now you're gonna get like some AI voice and some random picture to be taught. I don't know. It's too much, man.
Yeah, I
I
actually
want that to
got
be elevated.
uh, cheers to that, man. No, the other day the official trailer for Tron Ares came out. Is that what it
Okay,
is? I know it's Tron. It's the next in the Tron series.
sure.
Um, which we were all kind of hoping for because
Hmm.
let me just back up and say Tron Legacy
Yeah,
was enough, right? Like even if the story was kind of, it was enough. But the
yeah.
thing that really sold it was the world building, which was always true of Tron. Even when you
Hmm.
look back at Tron, it's a little cheesy. Like the pacing
Sure.
is weird, right? The story's a little meh.
Yeah,
But the concept is so wild and the effects are so engaging.
yeah.
And even the idea of like light becoming matter is
Hmm.
fascinating, right?
Yeah.
So Tron Legacy did what it needed to do. So Tron Ares is kind of banking on that same equation, right? Which
Hmm.
is the soundtrack is owned by an entire entity, and so it's going to have its like a very specific feel to it, right? It's like
Hmm.
having a chef come in and make your entire day's meal. Breakfast,
Yeah.
lunch, and dinner is all going to have the same vibe.
Right.
Um, cool. So we know we're going to get the soundtrack. We know we're going to get some cool effects and some cool fight scenes. Um, and probably the story's going to be like meh, right? And I saw another trailer for it. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting because the cover looked like AI." And I was like, "Now that's interesting because based on the fact that this is literally not just about light becoming matter, this is now about a computer program figuring out how to become matter."
Yeah.
Right? That's the purpose of this story. Again, fascinating. And
Hmm.
because we're basically talking about a character who is AI, I was like, did they choose to do AI? Because that's really
Mm.
meta.
Yeah.
And here's where I got fooled. Because usually I look at it and I'm like, oh, stop with the AI art. Stop with it. I don't want to see it.
Hmm.
However, in this case, I thought it was part of the story because it kind of makes sense for the story.
Sure.
And I got roped into this trailer and I was like, I don't understand what I'm watching right now. And then I was like, oh, because it's a fan trailer
Gotcha.
and it is not made clear that it is.
Yeah.
And so part of the distinction for me isn't just this is AI, it's also that this is not sanctioned. This is not approved. But I got
Yeah.
to tell you, like that's how marketing works sometimes. Like
True.
back in the day, there was an indie filmmaker from Colorado who went to my film school. Uh, and in fact, we just talked about him on the last program with Midian Crosby. So Jamin Winans, who did Ink, he went on to do The Frame and just recently did Myth of Man. And when Ink came out, uh, you know, indie film, so it was mostly ignored until someone pirated it. And the
Hmm.
moment someone pirated it, the pirate blew the fuck up. And because it blew up illegally, it also allowed them to make money legally because people were like, oh, is this what it is? But maybe it's better in the real form. And they would buy the
Yeah.
real thing. So I feel you on the AI.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to stop it anytime soon because I think
No,
what's going to happen is they're going to benefit from people ripping it off.
that's fair. Maybe so.
Yeah.
But I feel I have also seen a lot of like fake trailers. There's a lot of dumb AI trailers out there.
Hmm.
And I agree. I wish because some of them I feel like even try to sell themselves as real. Like not even
Mm.
just like fan trailers. They're like, this is official trailer number 3. But then you realize it's from like an unofficial, like it'll say like Sony Pictures T or something at the end. And you'd be like, oh, well, that looks close enough to Sony Pictures. And then I don't know. Uh, but yeah, I I I wonder if people are going to profit more off of it because of just the new exposure that it gets.
Hmm.
But I wonder how much of it is just stealing the attention away from the real thing as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I do remember a friend of mine on LinkedIn actually shared the human-made certified seal. I don't know the process though. So if anybody who's watching knows more about including the human-made certification seal to anything that you make, and what it covers. Love to hear more. Let us
Yeah,
know because we always want to hear.
that'd be
Um,
great.
down for learning. Um, I do have one more question, which isn't necessarily elevating the industry. Okay,
Okay.
because I keep flashing my ink and I notice that your ink is red. Like, yeah,
I have a couple inks.
you have a couple of inks.
Yeah, so this is the main one. It's in trash polka, which is why it's just bright red like that. It's what my shirt says. It's a Paper Street Soap Company. Um, it's from Fight Club.
All right.
So it's supposed to like look like it's a building that's been maybe it's on fire, maybe it's just like paint, and then that's supposed to be like graffiti. But in the world of Fight Club, the the leader Tyler Durden created the symbol, like created the Project Mayhem that graffitis everything. So, but he also owns Paper Street Soap Company. So it's a meta joke of him graffitiing himself. But I drew it. This is my original design
Oh,
that I had an artist put onto me. Um, and then I have this guy. It's hard to see from this angle, but he's just a ghost.
aw.
He's just a little ghost guy. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I thought he was cute. I thought he was cool. And I just wanted to get him. There was no better reason. And then I have one more on my shoulder blade.
Very fun.
What do you have?
My only and my first ever was this January. Um,
Wow.
and it's a quote from one of my favorite television series, which is backwards to you. I'm so sorry.
You are too good
Um,
a woman for God alone.
that is correct. So for
Nice.
anybody who knows The Last Kingdom, um, destiny is all. No, I adore the series, if for nothing else, because not just that it's well written, but like it gives a sense of humor and peace in a time that is very clearly ruled by violence and piety. What a combination, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I put those two things together very specifically because the main conflict really is between Uhtred, the warrior who was born a Saxon but raised by Danes, or as we know them, Vikings. And when something happens to his adopted father, he's blamed for his death and so is not welcome back into
Oh
the
wow.
rest of Viking society. So he has to basically make an agreement with the Saxons to live among them. And because he's a warrior and he knows things about their enemy, part of what he agrees
Mm,
to is to lead them to victory. Unfortunately, the king, as pious as he is, isn't satisfied with his service alone. He also wants his conversion. And if he's not willing to be Christian and a warrior, then is he ever really going to be loyal enough? Is he ever really going to be on their side? And so there's this back and forth between trust and admiration and frustration and like cultural differences and philosophical differences. And it's a really beautiful, strained relationship. Um, Second only to him and Bioka, because Uhtred, the warrior, has known this particular priest since he was a boy, before he was, adopted by this Danish family, this Viking family. So he knows that he's been baptized twice, and it still hasn't taken. Um, anyway, so the quote is actually from one of the warriors, who's an abbess, a nun that he saved. Actually, uh, one of his women saved her, but became part of his crew, and saw how noble he was, and saw how he keeps his word. So second season, Uhtred goes through this huge ordeal, and he's a shadow of himself. He whatever confidence and strength he had has gone, and he has to build it back up. And so she meets him to like clean up his beard and kind of, hey, I kept your sword for you. Like this is you're not asked to jump back into the fray, but you are asked to remember who you are. And in
mhm,
order to both show that he is still in there, but also very specifically, Uhtred is a ladies' man, or
mhm.
ladies. Yeah, he really. If you are attractive and kind, more than likely Uhtred is hitting on you. And so the quote is both meant as a compliment.
Mhm.
It's also meant to confirm, yes, it's really me, by also hitting on her.
Yeah. Right, right.
um,
That's funny.
so yeah, yeah, it's it's very Uhtred. Um, but I also just love the idea that I think when women have their own path sometimes, um, there's this sense of I have to keep people out of my sphere in order to focus on what I'm doing. Um, and and I think for me it reinforces like, hey, um, don't let other people convince you that this is all you can do with your life, right?
Mm,
You can do what you're good at and what you want. Both of those things can exist at the same time.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so, ooh, I was like, someone messaged, but I don't see what it is. Oh, those are spam bots
Yep.
dropping things in, in my thing. Thanks, spam bots. Um, anyway, I noticed that I've kept on for about an hour, and I feel like we should tidy this up a bit. Not to mention my coffee is just about done.
Womp womp. Time to get another
Womp
cup.
womp. But hey, I will leave because I put together a little Google form so that if there are any people that I have not had the chance to meet and you would like to be a guest on the podcast, drop us a submit through the form. Let us know what you want to kind of talk about, what it is you do, and yeah, let's have a proper cup of tea. Um, I
That'd be
think that's
awesome.
the majority of it, right? Uh, I love meeting new people. I really, really do. But I also just love the exchange of information. That's why when you said it the last time, I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Um, yeah, because I think we grow and we learn when we are introduced to a diversity of thought, and that can only happen when we open ourselves up to it. So thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for giving ourselves a chance to expand our horizons.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we will see you next. It'll be either be Thursday or Friday because sometimes people's schedule doesn't align, and you gotta meet people where they are, just like Ted Lasso. So that's all I got for now. Thank you, Matt. I'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.